Hi, it's Stephanie. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching my channel. I'm super excited to share with you today how I recovered the Jackknife sofa in my camper. Now, I don't know why they call it Jackknife, but basically this folds down into a bed and I'm going to recover the whole thing. It's not a slipcover. If you want to do a slipcover, that's not this video. I actually covered it with fabric and it's permanent. So I'm super excited to show you how I did that. Now, I'm not an expert. I did this on my own and I sort of made it up as I went along, and I filmed the whole process so you can kind of see how I came up with the ideas that I did and why I chose how I did it. But I love the result. We've camped in it several times and it's just been a dream. I just love it. I love my fabric. I love the whole result. It was great. Thanks to hubby for helping me, and you'll see. Please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up if you don't mind, and hit the little bell which will notify you when I do another video. What you can expect if you're new to my channel is more videos about my camper, some of the travels that we have, a little bit about our life here in the country, fashion and sewing, just a few of my favorite things to talk about. So please hit the subscribe button. Ring the little bell, thumbs up, leave me a comment. And if you're redecorating your camper, I'd love to see pictures. If you can't post them here on YouTube, we have a Facebook page called Feral Focus. Just come follow and let's see what you're doing. We'd love to see. Okay, so let's get into this. First, I'm going to show you how we took it out. Then we'll walk you through all the different process of doing the back and then the bottom and how I came up with it. I was a little bit thinking that I was going to staple gun this super easy. That did not work out. So you hear me mention that. In the end, I had to sew it to the existing fabric. I'm just really excited to share this project with you. It turned out great and I'm super happy. All of the effort was worth it. We did this in an afternoon and then we went camping the next day. And actually, you can see that video right here. Okay, so let's get started, shall we?
We've been discussing the Jackknife sofa. So, hubby, why don't you demonstrate it real quick?
Well,
set it back down. This is when it's a sofa. And then to open it, you do this. And then you push this little button. And a leg comes down. And keep going.
Probably okay. Yeah.
And now we have a bed. So, how do we cover this? So, pick it back up. Hubby says, this is hubby. He doesn't want to be on camera. Why? You look fine.
Okay.
Hubby says that these can come off. So this can come off and this can come off. This whole thing can come off. And I said, yes.
Yeah. So, I think I have the right deal here. Going the right way.
Oh my gosh, just like that. It is removed. So that's off. So now, do we have access to this one? Oh yes, we do.
Do a close-up on the bracket. Taking out the whole piece of metal thinglebob here that holds the couch together.
Alrighty then. The whole thing comes out! Whoop, whoop!
Okay. I think what I'll do is take off the metal pieces
just to make
again.
it easy.
Yeah.
Alright, I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
So what did you do?
I just...
Oh, so he pinned it so that the screw won't spin.
Just Alright.
Woohoo!
Set it here, the same direction that we needed it.
Yeah, just put everything on that side on that bench and put everything from the other side on that bench. So hubby brought the sofa in and now I just have to figure out a couple of things. What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? So the first question is, do I have enough fabric? Because I have what I have. And I have a ton, but now that I see this sofa, it's not looking like a ton. I don't care as much about the back of that. This has no fabric, so it's just the top. And will it fit? This looks wider than my fabric, so we'll just have to see. I'm just going to lay my fabric on top of this cushion and just see what I have. And then I'm going to start making some plans. Just an FYI, this is what I have. So I still have quite a bit. And I'm going to start with this bolt and just see, since this is smaller, I can use it up. Okay, moment of truth. Is it wide enough to go all the way around? Oh my gosh. So right now I'm imagining that it's wide enough to go all the way around and be stapled. Okay. This is 44 wide. I could just measure, but it looks great. I just got happy. Oh my gosh. It's totally gonna fit. Totally gonna fit. Okay, so now that we know the answer to one question is, do I have enough fabric, is yes. And there's even more on that bolt and that's smaller. So we definitely have enough fabric. I've already ironed it, so I've tried to get the crease out. There's still a big crease there, but it's pretty much gone. So I'm going to turn it over, and this is my plan. I wish I could tell you that this will work, but I won't know until I'm done. Now, I do have this flap, and I want to cut it off to make my cushion nice and neat. But obviously this is the back. It's not going to really show because it only shows when it's folded down, and I don't want to destroy the cushion in case somebody ever wants to recapture this fabric and leave it on. So I'm not going to cut it off. I'm just going to wrap my fabric around it. So that's what I decided. Okay, so I'm going to find my size that I want, and I'm just going to pin it. And I want it snug, but not so snug that I can't get it on here, because I'm going to have to get this on here and it's not going to be that easy. But it's worth a little wrangling to get it firm, if you know what I mean. Okay, so here we go. I want to make sure these edges are the same, just so I can make it even. So what I'll do is I'll pin this, and if all my measurements are super close, then I will just make one measurement and make one line and sew it. It kind of feels like it's a little smaller on the ends, but you know what? If it's loose, I could always go in and just do a little hand tacking to tighten it up a little. Or it could be a little loose. I'm not going to be too particular about this. I just want it done. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my marking pencil and I'm going to mark all these pins, and then I'll take them off. I'm going to mark it on both sides, so now I know where my line's going to be. Here's my plan. I'm going to sew one long seam with my sewing machine, and then I'm going to hand sew the ends closed around the screws, and I feel really good about this. Okay, I'm going to sew this up. Okay, here's where I'm at. I sewed up the long seam. The bottom line is I'm not putting this on more than one time because it's probably not going to be easy. So first I'm going to turn it right side out. And then I'm going to put it on my sofa back. I think since my seam I want in the middle, I'm going to put my front down and the back on top so I can see that seam as I'm putting it on and make sure as I need to I could adjust it. So here's my plan. Just going to put it on like a really hard pillowcase. I mean, pillowcases are hard anyways. Be careful of these screws. I don't want it to pull on my fabric. And I also want this to be tucked. Maybe not as hard as I thought. It may be a little wider in the center because as I get to the center, it's a little harder to pull. I'm watching this seam. I want to make sure it stays as much in the middle as I can. It's not going to show, so it could be a little crooked. I don't care. Okay. I have enough on both ends to do, oh my gosh, worth it! How cute! This is going to be so cute! Okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to sew the ends of this. I'm out of breath. It just took that to put me out of breath. I'm going to sit down and so I'll put the camera right here so you can see what I'm doing. And if you like the way it turns out, you can follow along with what I did or, you know, make your own adjustments. One thing I know is it would be helpful if the seam was up here so I could have it not have these screws be a part of it. Because obviously with all this fraying, a hole in the fabric is going to fray. So let's just see what that would look like. Now, it would be cool if my seam could be right there. The bottom could come right there. And then what could this corner do? Oh, I kind of like that. I think I found it. What if that's my corner? If that's my corner, what would it look like if it was sitting up? This is so heavy. So I could just tack that down. That's what I'm gonna do. All right. Oh, that's so heavy. That's so heavy. Okay. How did that happen? I'm going to do that, and then I'm just going to leave a little gap right here where this screw is. I'm just going to leave a little gap. So I'm just going to sew this. So I double threaded it, and I'm going to use that invisible stitch again. One end's done. I wouldn't say it's even close to pretty or perfect, but it is kind of hidden on the side, so hopefully good enough. Okay, it's done. I think the screws are accessible. I'll let hubby be the judge of that, and then I'm going to figure out what to do with that bottom. So my next thing that I want to do is I want to do corners. If I look at what they did, they have several different pieces of fabric. So there's a seam here, and then it rolls around, there's a seam there. So what I want to do is I want to have one piece of fabric with 4 sewn corners. So that's what I'm going to have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure off the size that I need, giving myself some space. I'm not going to cut the width of it, I'm just going to cut the length of it. So I want to give myself enough selvage all the way around to go under and to staple. So I need to cut off this end. So I'm just going to make a mark where I want to cut it. I'm just going to match, all the ends are going to have the same. So there's that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that piece off, and then I'm going to kind of turn this inside out. I want to iron it because it's got a big crease. Iron the whole thing, turn it inside out, and just kind of pull till I have some corners, pin it, sew it, and then I'll put it back on and I'll start stapling underneath. And no hand sewing on this one. That should be great. It's all ironed, and now I'm going to turn it inside out and figure out these corners. I also have a couple of holes for screws that I want to reinforce. They're not going to show. It doesn't have to be pretty. I probably will just do fray check because this cushion's not going to be moved all that much. Doesn't really move. I kind of wish it flipped up so I could get to stuff underneath it, but it doesn't. Okay, let's just check the measurements and see if I've got it on straight. So I want this to be snug, just like before, and I will be pulling as I staple. So let's just find a corner here. All right, this one probably will be easier for you to see. So let me come around and just show you what I've done on the other three. Can you see this? Basically, I just pulled it like a triangle, and I grabbed it down right about there. I should probably mark the top too. And then I marked where it ends just in case I want to stop. And now I'm thinking I want to start right here. So I'm going to go and mark the other three just like that. So I'm going to sew from there to there. Just give it a little back stitch and a little back stitch, and then I'm going to come and put it on, and then I'm going to staple it. Okay, so this is the moment of truth. Did I get corners or not? Now I'm going right side out. All that ironing is very wrinkled. It should pull out though. All right, I got one. I want it snug. Okay, there's two. Looks snug to me. This side will tell. It's not super tight, but you know what? It's just the corners. I can pull it a little tighter when I'm starting to do my staples. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like pin some of this fabric just to kind of give it a, so I don't pull it, get it wonky. I'm going to maybe do like a few pins, just a few sewing pins around the sides. Then I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to get my staple gun and I'm going to start stapling it from the other side. Okay, so it's been a dilemma trying to figure out how to get this cushion cover on here. Maybe if I was a upholsterer, I would know how to do this, but I'm not, so I don't. And I called hubby and I told him we had metal, can't use staples. He's talking about screwing. You can't use screws up. This fabric would just rip. And my daughter's like, put a piece of plywood on the bottom. I don't think that's a good idea. Kind of heavy and bulky, and will it still fold down? And then hubby's all, I'll put a piece of masonite. That's nice and thin. And then I'm like, you know what? He said, why don't you just sew it? And I said, oh my God, I can't sew this on. Are you kidding me? But you know what? That's what I'm doing. I'm sewing it to the existing fabric. And I found a super easy way, and I'm going to show you up close. It's weird how I have so many weird things in my drawers of sewing that I don't even know what they are, but man, today some of that oddball stuff has come in handy, and I'm going to show you up close. I've got my little camera sitting so you can watch right here, and I am folding it under and sewing it. I actually think it's going to look great, but I've had an afternoon of I don't know what to do. So I don't know how other people have covered these. You know, I could have done a slip cover. Hubby said do a slip cover, but I really wanted it to be covered, like nice, and I don't know. I just had it in my mind. So this is how I'm doing it, and I'm excited. Okay, you might remember that I sewed these corners, and so I have like a whole bunch of excess fabric left over and kind of in my way. So I'm just trimming that off. That way I just have something I can just fold and tuck in. And that's what I'm going to do. So it's super easy. And I decided that I wanted my long side to be on top. So I'm doing my short side first. And let me trim this one off also. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm going to just fold it. Just to make this easy on myself, I'm pinning it into place. And I'm pulling it tight for pinning. Okay, so this is all pinned, and then I'll do the long side second. I am going to tell you the cool little things I found in my
sewing drawer that are making this super easy. I pulled out some blue jean thread. So this is the kind of thread that you might line the pockets on a blue jean with, but there is super thick thread. That's why I picked it. It's not going to show. I don't care what color it is, so I picked that because it's super thick. My scissors, my pins. And then I found this needle in my needles, and I don't know what it's for, but it's curved. Do you see that? It's curved. So it's super easy to sew with. But my fingers were getting sore just from doing it. Not that it's hard. So I have a thumb and I have a finger, but I'm just using the finger. And basically, I'm just dipping it in right where I want it and letting it come up. Can you see that? And then I'm just going backwards halfway into that stitch and doing it again. I'm not trying to be nice and neat. It's underneath. It's not going to show. And pull it a little tight. And that's what I'm doing. You don't need to see me sew this whole couch, so I'm going to turn this off. When you look at this, would you guess that this time tomorrow we'll be sitting at the ocean in our camp spot?
I can't wait. It'll be awesome.
Putting the washer back on.
Washer, this is the lag bolt. Washer and nut on the other side. It goes in a little tight. So we got it started, but it's spinning, so I'm going to put the vice grips, needle nose vice grips on this nut. There we go. One side's done.
Okay, same thing on the other side.
Okay. See if it all goes back in.
Get better. We're leaving in the morning no matter what.
I agree.
I'm always compelled to say, watch your back. Shall I help and set down the camera?
Nah.
I've been manhandling that for the whole day. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we did this.
I know, here's a pin.
Oh, thank you.
Whoa! Alright. So now, we put the leg screws back in. Love this tool.
Again. Now for the big moment.
Whoa!
Let me back up. I tripped on that. Okay, big moment. Down she goes. Beautiful!
Yay!
What do you think, honey?
I'm loving it.
So cheerful. Ready to get the other half in?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do this.
And the rest is on its way.
Yay. I'm guessing it goes.
Well, if it's laying flat, then that would be the bottom and that would be the top.
Okay, so.
So we had to role play how this rolls, because this rolls around and we had to put it in right side up. So we just went through the motions of how we would use it, and that's how we determined where we had to flip it. We had to flip it over because we had it wrong.
Okay, so that's what's going to happen right here. Is it going to come up?
Do you want me to hold it?
Actually, all I really need is something on the other side to kind of keep it level. Glasses. Okay. Let's get started.
Oh my gosh, this looks so good. Oh,
Sorry about the foot.
look at that! It's got a shoe on it! He's forgiven, but only this once, because look at all his hard work.
All right.
Oh,
Look at that.
look at that cute couch! Woo!
That is awesome.
It is! I'm so happy, thank you.
You are so very welcome. Thank you for all the stitching you did.
Oh my gosh, and most of it by hand,
I know.
literally.
Of course, it's a combination. Your craftsmanship and stitching with me and my big tools.
Oh, it's funny, it went blurry right then.
Oh.
When you roll the back down, there's a little leg, and when you remove the leg screws and you've covered the whole thing, it's hard to find those. So what you want to do is, if you have a big craft needle, I just poked the fabric till I found my hole and marked it with a magic marker, and then I circled that magic marker with some fray checks so that it would stay without fraying right around there. And it worked great, because basically that little clamp will cover up the hole anyways. It won't get any wear and tear. Just wanted to add that little tidbit that I forgot to mention when I was doing this video.